Hello, my name is Gabby and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, then welcome to my channel, and today's video is going to be my March 2022 wrap-up. I have journal with me for most, not all, but most of the books that I talk about in this video today, and I will have those linked down in the description below if you are interested, and I will also have the content warnings for these books listed down there as well. So my March reading plans fell through about halfway through the month, and I started a lot of stuff and I just fell into like a pretty bad reading slump. But we will end up talking about that a little bit more later on in this video, and then probably once again in my April TBR. That being said, it is time to talk about the 5 books that did get done. They're actually all relatively short and quick reads due to that reading slump I mentioned, which is pretty fun. So yeah, let's get into talking about them. We're mostly going to be going in the order of which I read them, except for one which I'm going to leave towards the end because it's just like a quick thing that I'm not going to say much about. So first we have I Wish You All the Best by Mason Deaver. This follows our main character Ben after they are kicked out of their house by their parents after coming out as non-binary. They are then forced to move in with their sister Hannah and her husband, who are estranged from the family. They place Ben in a new school where they will be trying to get through the last half of their senior year while also dealing with an anxiety disorder and the rejection from their parents. Their fellow classmate Nathan takes them under his wing, and as their friendship grows stronger, their feelings for one another begin to change. Okay, so this was a tougher one for me due to like the darker moments of this book, and they just really impacted me so much more than I expected. But there were some really like amazing moments of this light in the darkness type of dynamic, and I think these scenes really did carve out some really beautiful and even at times fun spaces. I also really liked how much we got to know our main character, and I really did enjoy the romance and their dynamic together. I do just wish this book was a little bit longer so that certain characters and relationships could have gotten developed a little bit more. But at the end of the day, this book really did end up meaning like a lot to me for just so many different reasons, and I ended up giving it 4.5 out of 5 stars. So next up we have Volume 2 of Heartstopper by Alice Oseman. This follows the story of our main character Charlie, who is openly gay and is kind of like a high-strung overthinking type of person. And then this also follows our other main character Nick, who is like a cheerful and soft-hearted rugby player. They become friends very quickly once they meet, and Charlie is falling hard for him, but he is not sure if he has a chance. This was so much fun, and I think I was smiling through not the whole thing, but like it might as well have been. Like my heart just felt so happy. And I don't really know how to describe this, but the story and the characters' existence and banter with one another felt really celebratory of just like gayness. And also some other parts of the community as well, just like throughout the story. And that's not to say this book does not tackle some things that are less fun and are more serious, because it definitely does. But it's also just lovely to see these characters being happy and having fun and just being adorable, and that is mostly what I will be taking away from this volume. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars, and now I just need to get my hands, I say this all the time, but I do really need to get the other volumes because I just need this series in my life so much. And speaking of series that I need more of in my life, next up we have Bloom Into You. This is the light novel. It is novel 1 of the light novel. This is a spin-off novel to the Bloom Into You series, which I did not know going in, but I am perfectly content with. This one follows our main character, who is serious and cares more about studying than socializing. And that is the case until a romantic confession from another girl in middle school turns her life upside down. So like I said before, I did not know this was a spin-off going into it, which is why up until this video I've been giving what I think is the synopsis for the Bloom Into You manga, or also probably the anime. So when I went into this book, I was very confused at first, but I figured it out relatively quickly, so it was okay. One of the authors actually refers to this as like volume 0 to the series, and I think that describes this really well despite not having interacted with the rest of the series yet. As for this one, I really ended up liking our main character, and I think her personality is a lot of fun, and not only led to some moments in here, but also has a lot of potential to create a lot of fun dynamics and interactions. Not just in here, but in the future. And it was really nice to see a character explore and come to terms with her sexuality like this, especially for a manga, light novel, anime. And I've also just heard so many amazing things about this series in general, and it's fun and amazing to actually read some of those things for myself, because I feel like I have been hearing about this series for a little while now, and I'm just glad to finally be interacting with it in any way. And I ended up giving this one 4 stars, but I definitely do see a lot of 5 stars in the future for me in this series. I actually am still kind of figuring out where I'm going next, but I would love to get my hands on the manga. And I also know this light novel has some other volumes, I'm pretty sure. And then I also could go watch the anime, so yeah. A lot of options, and I'm just excited for all of them. So next up is Shout by Laurie Halse Anderson. This is a poetry memoir that was released 20 years after her groundbreaking novel Speak. It's written in free verse and depicts deeply personal stories from her childhood and life, as she is enraged by how little has changed in our culture surrounding SA since Speak was published. Okay, so back to that reading slump I mentioned earlier. I did not really get a chance to finish or even start in some cases a lot of my Women's History Month picks, and by a lot I basically kind of mean all. But I have owned this book for a while and I wanted to finish something, so I figured this could be a direction to go, and I am so glad that this is the direction I went in. It's a very powerful story with a lot of dark and difficult moments and imagery, and just like the writing style was so amazing, and I genuinely really love this author's writing. It's kind of one of those writing styles that makes the concept of writing just feel like really beautiful, and just like words and poetry, and sure, yeah. I love a lot of things about this book and I think they're really important, but reading how this author's stories and experiences have been censored over the years felt really disheartening and infuriating, like, just to read. And I think that specifically, and just everything all together, just really elevated this book's, like, overall importance for me, and yeah, I ended up giving this 5 stars. So the last book that I wanted to just quickly mention is El Defo by C.C. Bell. I do just want to mention this book quickly since I did end up reading it this month for a class that I am currently taking on children's literature. I tend to not review or rate books that I read for required reading, but I thought I would quickly mention it in this video because it is something that I read this month, and it will show up like when I do that video of like all the books that I read in 2022. So yeah, I thought I would quickly mention it before the outro. Okay, so that is all I have for today's video. My April TBR should be next, emphasis on should. Thank you all so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, and answer the question that'll be around here if you want to do that, and hopefully I will see you here next time. Bye!